Oh,
Okay, go.
and now we are live. What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in this bright and beautiful world. Hey, it may be Sunday, but it's the best day to talk about how you're going to be good to your body, what New Year's resolutions you're going to keep, and how you're going to keep them, and just overall fitness, right? So if you are joining in, you probably follow Dawn on all of the socials, the YouTubes, the Instagrams, and all that good stuff. So Dawn, I'm gonna just toss it to you since you are the gracious host to host us on your platform and your community and all of the other community members that would be joining us from our networks. But I'm gonna toss it to you just for a moment to give a shout out, greet your people, so that we can kill a little time till we get some people to join us in.
Okay, so this is my regular intro. Hello, fit chicks and fit beauties. Welcome back to my channel. I have three amazing coaches here, coaches slash co-workers, and they're just gonna come share their insight, their wisdom, how. And I also just want to thank all three of y'all for welcoming me into y'all family. And yep, that's all I gotta say, Sherhara.
Okay, and then I see some people in the chat already. Yvonne, Bradley, I see you in the chat. Nails looking cute, friend. And so, yeah, if y'all are watching in, go ahead and give us a shout out. Let us know where you're watching in from. We want to make sure that you stay connected with us on the chat. If you have questions, you're more than welcome to ask the questions while we're doing all of this. We're not going to do that whole thing. We're going to save all the questions to the end because if you're anything like me, I would have forgotten my question by the end. So if you got your questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat. Today, we're going to talk about, of course, fitness. We've got a number of all of our coaches, our trainers that come with years and years and years of experience to help guide us in the space of how we're either going to start our journey or how we're going to maintain our journey and how can we stay focused throughout. What up, Peter in the house? IFBB Pro. That's what everybody's going for. So he's got it. And then we're also going to talk about entrepreneurship because that's also the common denominator that's happening here. With all of our coaches, all of our trainers that are here, all run their independent businesses. And there is a correlation between physical fitness and your success, especially professionally, when it comes to, putting your mind onto something, having some focus, being able to remain disciplined. Okay. I think I started my fitness journey just so that I can exercise my discipline muscle because that's absolutely necessary in your entrepreneurship journey. So, as we kick this off, I'm going to allow each of our trainers to introduce themselves however they would like. But then I would like for you to share one high level tip because I want to start giving the value right now. One high level tip on what people can do to either start or maintain their journey going into the new year. So introduce yourself and then provide that one hard hit them. This is the tip. This is what you need to start your journey and maintain your journey. I'll start off with Miss Nicole Hudson coming to the stage.
Hello, everybody. I am Nicole. I'm one of the trainers at the Body Shop. If you guys don't know, we're located on Alameda and Southmore. I've been doing this for about 24 years. So, and I will say it never gets easy, but it always works. My one fitness tip that can help you is an accountability partner. That will help you stay on your track if you have a partner that's doing the same thing that you're trying to do.
Good stuff. Now let's hit it. Jermaine, Mr. Patterson, come to the stage.
Well, thank you. Good morning, everybody. So I'm Jermaine Patterson. I've been in fitness pretty much half my life. I started off in college being a trainer, and then left that for a little bit and then started back over in my early 30s into fitness. I'm sticking to 35, so don't try to guess my age. I am co-owner of the Body Shop HDX and also High Intensity Fitness Wellness Center. And so my advice for everyone is to stay on your journey is your mindset. Make sure that you have the right mindset before you could even tackle the journey of your fitness. You got to have that mindset first before anything else.
Gotcha. Good stuff. All right, round of applause, hands in the chat, Jermaine. So just to recap, accountability partner, mindset. Dawn, I'm gonna toss it over to you. Introduce yourself and what's that one tip that people need to know right now and either to start their fitness journey or to maintain it?
Hello, my name is Dawn Smith. I'm also a trainer at the Body Shop HTX. I've been training for a year and a half. And my one tip for starting your weight loss journey and making sure you stick it to it is just making sure that your journey is rooted through self-love. Most times people think they, can hate themselves and that will keep them motivated. Like, I hate my body, so I'm gonna go work out so I can look better. But you got to take care of the internal work in order for the physical to follow. So that was it.
Oh, that's coming with the word, Dawn, because you're absolutely right. The thing that sometimes motivates us is because we're not happy with how our body looks. And that's just not a good way to stay motivated. If unhappiness, disappointment, feeling less than and insecurities are the things that are inspiring you to start your journey, you're going to have to transition eventually because you can't just be running off of the fuel of the things that we just don't like about ourselves. So that's a really great tip. And now we're going to round it out to Ian Buchanan.
Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Ian. I am one of the trainers and co-owner of the Body Shop X Fitness. So New Year's resolutions, one of the things that I've found, first of all, everything that everybody stated is right on point. I would say the thing that I would try to encourage people to realize is that if you focus on consistency, consistency will trump intensity. You don't have to do anything crazy. You don't have to do anything outlandish. You don't have to starve yourselves. You don't have to go run a 5K every day or a half marathon. If you simply focus on consistency and just simply chipping away every single day, doing something incrementally instead of trying to do something exponentially, basically having a slow cooker approach instead of a microwave approach, I feel like you're going to be more likely to be successful than trying to lose a significant amount of weight in a short period of time or something like that. So just my word for 2023 would just be consistency. Just keep on checking in, keep on working towards your goals inch by inch instead of mile by mile.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, what did you say? Consistency is greater than intensity. Like that's a word right there. And I want to say hey to everybody in the chat. Keep the chat moving. If you got questions, you want to give shout outs. I see people are talking about it. Ivic Michelle says it seems like consistency, discipline, and the holidays are the biggest enemies on a fitness journey. We are post holidays now, y'all, so we can refocus, right? And just to introduce myself, my name is Sherhara, and I am the victim here, okay? These coaches are the ones that whoop my ass on a daily basis, okay? So anybody in the chat that has been beat up by any one of these folks, we are in the same boat, right? So I am on the receiving end of their expertise on a day-to-day basis. I joined the Body Shop in like September of 2021, and I have just redefined my connection with my body and what I'm eating, not only just my body, but what I'm putting in it. I think that's probably one of the biggest things that I've learned. They say abs are made in the kitchen, and they ain't lying, okay? So I came about the Body Shop through a friend of mine, and she suggested it. And so I did some searching, and I was comparing and contrasting some other places, and I was looking on social media, but it was still something that attracted me to the Body Shop. But finding evidence on social media can sometimes be a distraction. And so my question to you all is, when you're getting ready to start your journey and you've got the body goals, or you got the trainers that you hear on social media and TikTok coming with their messages. Does social media make it easier or harder for you to serve folks like me when I'm sending you pictures of, my body goals? I want to get like this body fat percentage, or I heard that I can't be eating this because somebody else just said that. It's so much on social media. So does that make it more difficult for you to work with your clients? And how would you suggest we handle social media so that we can maintain in our journey?
Okay, I go.
Go,
Okay.
Don.
So I can honestly say that social media does play a big role, like when you're on the journey. Because when I started my journey, I literally didn't follow not one fitness influencer. So I can honestly say that it was easier for me to start because I had nothing like telling me, okay, you may have to do it like this or do it like that. It was no distraction. And then like further on in my journey, when I started to like find more fitness pages, it became distracting because you see, it's like Jermaine said, it's all about your mindset. Because you could look at somebody who kind of like you, like, oh, I love their body. That's my dream body, and that can either motivate you or that can make you compare yourself. Like it could be negative, like it's as far as like comparing yourself to them. So one thing that I would say is when you decide to hire a trainer or pick a trainer to help you with your journey, you have to like open that flow for trust. And then as trainers, it's our job to educate them because people will come with different type of like fad diets that they seen on the internet. And so it's our jobs to educate them on how, okay, this might make you lose 50 pounds in 2 weeks or a month, but let's talk about long term, because I feel like as I do the as trainer is to like think about longevity for our clients, like thinking about like once they drop the weight, will it be sustainable? Or is it mentally healthy for them to stick to in the long run? So that's what I would say about like social media in the fitness world.
Mm-hmm. And then Nicole, I'm gonna throw this to you just to get even more specific about social media. It's like, what are some of the red flags of social media fitness, culture that if we see it, we should probably ignore it, or swipe left on that? How do we cut the clutter from some of the things that we see on social media?
Well, I think a lot of social media, I'm not going to say a lot, but some are selling products, but they're not doing the work. So you may see someone who's had their body done and they're selling waist trainers, or they're, just selling fitness, I guess, equipment or things that they can do. And I think those are real red flags because they don't know the struggle that people go through to be able to get to the level naturally that people want their bodies to be. Now, I do think if someone, if they've had their body done, you do have to maintain it. So don't get me wrong, you have to maintain it. But personally, I think until you've experienced the hardship and what it takes mentally and physically to take your body through something to get to the fitness level you want to be, you shouldn't sell it. You know what I mean? I don't think it's that you should sell that information. I think that you should have experienced it so people can understand. Because I have people that naturally come to me, they're maybe having a hard day, that their meals may not be where they want to be. They even struggle with eating. I can sell them. These are things that we go through. It's nothing wrong with having a bad day or these are things that we go through. This is how it's going to feel, and you can bounce back, if you need to bounce back. So I find it, I wouldn't necessarily say offensive, but I don't think it's fair to the ones who's trying to do it naturally, for somebody to spew out or, throw out things and sell products and it's just for money. You really don't understand what it takes to get there.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And I think a way that you can look at it from as I was listening to you, like you want to trust the people who've gone through the journey themselves, who can share kind of the proof of I've gone through the process. I know how challenging it can be. I've rode the ups and downs, right? And so bringing in that personal story probably makes a big difference when you're trying to watch people on social media. So that leads me to my next question. I'm gonna throw it to the fellas on this one. Thinking about the journey, what have you learned the most in your own personal fitness journey, right? So let's share a little bit about your journey. I know, Jermaine, you offered like, hey, you've been in this fitness life for half of your life now. But what do you feel like you've learned the most?
What I've learned the most is probably like Ian had just said, like there was times where in my fitness journey I didn't take it as seriously, and then there was times where I didn't know anything about like nutrition. I'll go to the gym, work out, and then go right to Whataburger and have a chicken barbecue sandwich. And that's when I was like, I didn't know about nutrition. And then when I did Herbalife, and once I did that, then I started learning about, nutrition is the main key to your results. So the one thing I learned is just being consistent, and I had to be consistent with that. And I noticed that when I was consistent with that, where I ate better, I took care of myself, and that better, then the results maintained, and I didn't have to. I saw results in what I was doing versus just being stagnant in my physique.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that that's definitely something that the Body Shop puts at the forefront. Everybody is always talking about what they've eaten and what other options we can use. Nicole, you put me onto the rice cake with the banana and the peanut butter on it. It was something else you put me on too. But the idea that at the Body Shop, they definitely put nutrition out there first. And we all know that how important it is, but it always has to be reiterated. So that's definitely something I hope everyone sees out there. And in the chat, we got some comments. Somebody said, I hate social media so much because so many fitness influencers lie about their fitness journey. Yes, they are capping, as they say. And that itself is discouraging. And then Jen S said, cut out the social media. I better stretch while I listen and watch. It's all about time management for me. And that's a really good suggestion, Jen, is time management, because you do have to manage your time if you're going to make fitness a priority. But taking it over to Ian with the same question, what do you feel like you've learned the most in your personal fitness journey?
So, so I think that we are conditioned in society. We're conditioned to basically be goal oriented or end goal oriented. So if I'm running, I want to get to the finish line as quickly as possible. If I'm in school, I'm looking forward to my graduation. There's always like a end goal that we're trying to work towards. And the thing about fitness is that the race never stops.
Never stops.
This is something that you will continuously be on for the duration of your lifetime.
That's right.
That's the biggest thing. That you cannot have a sprinter mindset in this. It has to be a marathon mindset. It has to be endurance mindset. Now, there's going to be certain times where you do sprint, but at the end of the day, you have to have enough energy to continue the race. You have to have enough motivation, intrinsic motivation, to continue the race. And so I would say that's the biggest thing. In my teens, in my 20s, my 30s, like the biggest thing has just been
in your 40s.
Keep that motivation. Not there yet.
He's skipping the 40s, y'all.
It gets better with time. It gets better with time. Trust me.
And I think that you're all, providing great tips, but what if you really are that person that just hates working out, like the physical activity, right? Like I'm still getting to a point where I'm building my relationship with like liking working out. Like I'm definitely not one of those people where if I'm stressed out, I want to go get on the stair machine. No, I want to go watch Law and Order if I'm stressed out, right? So, for people who just haven't yet built like a new connection or a new relationship with physical activity, what advice would you offer them if they just don't like working out? Dawn, you want to kick this one off?
Yeah, because we just had this conversation in the gym the other day because somebody was saying that they was like, I hate coming here, but I want to look good. And I was like, right there, you have to change your mindset because if you only come to the gym to look good, that motivation gonna light up like a match and burn out quicker than you know. So one thing that I tell people is you have to find something that you like to do. Like, yes, strength training and hit cardio is good to get to your physique goals, but if you thinking long term, find something that's fitness related, like exercise related, that you enjoy doing. Like people like to do dance classes or people like to do Zumba. If that's something that you know you could do with ease and it really don't stress you out, then go do it. Like you don't have to automatically go towards the stuff that'll get you to your physique goals as fast as you can, because you also want to think what's going to keep me going, not necessarily what's going to get me there faster, but what's going to keep me going. Because when I first started my fitness journey, I'll probably go to the gym for like 20 minutes, take a couple of pictures, and then go out. But that was something that I could consistently do. Go in, do my little thing, and go out. You see what I'm saying? And so by me constantly doing that, then I started doing step aerobics, and I was like, okay, this is fun. I could do this with ease. And so I will go to step aerobics class because you'll be around people that give you good energy, music. So it's more so just finding something that you enjoy doing. Like if you like going on walks. Now, for the people who really just don't like exercising, nutrition is going to be your approach because you can still get great results without exercising. Of course, exercising is good for our bodies and our health, but just like everybody said, it's a path that everybody walks and it takes time to get there. So that would just be my advice on that one.
Now we're gonna have to run back to that whole thing, even if you're not working out, as long as your nutrition is on point. Because Tia in the comments said, "I love working out. It's getting a hold of my nutrition that I have a trouble with. Can't out exercise a bad diet." And I know Ian, you say that all of the time. So you find yourself finally in the gym, right? Maybe you change that mindset. It's not just about I'm gonna work out just because I want to look good. You're kind of now getting to the mindset of this is going to be a little bit more long term. Now, for me, where I'm at and going to the body shop, I loved it because I don't have to think. Y'all just tell me what to do, right? I ain't got to come up with no exercises. I don't have to, know whether or not I'm working this part or that part. I just show up, right? And that's been helpful to have a trainer. And I'm gonna throw this one to both Nicole and Jermaine about how do you choose your trainer, or how do you decide if it's time to get a trainer, or what resources do you offer people if they can't afford a trainer but still want to keep going with their journey.
Nicole just asked me to be her trainer the other day.
Uh-oh. She rolling her eyes. What's happening here? What is the tea?
Nah, I mean, like, I think you pick your trainer based on their personality, who you're attracted to, or who you like their style of training. So, like, some people might not like the way I train, and they be like, "Hey, I like the way Nicole trains." And so it just depends on the preference of how that person feels about their trainer, who they want to train with.
Mm-hmm. And what tips should they be looking like? What should they be looking for when they start to look for trainers? You talked about maybe you like them. Is it chemistry? We got a good vibe going on. But are there styles of training that I should be looking for?
Definitely, you look at like how that trainer looks, how they carry themselves. If you got like a trainer that's overweight and not take care of themselves, or not practicing what they preach, then that's probably not a trainer that you want to get with. But if you have a trainer that is showing you the results, showing you their work ethic as well too, that's probably a trainer that you would gravitate more towards.
Mm-hmm.
Because like no pun against like 24-hour fitness, but when you go to 24-hour fitness, you see some of their trainers, they're like, why are they training? And they're just walking around just kind of sloppy looking, not taking care of themselves. They just get there for a paycheck. So it depends on the trainer that you see and like how their body looks and want to kind of like mimic them as well too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Nicole, any insights or share a story about a trainer that you've had, or just so that we have an idea, what should we be looking for?
Well, so I am a trainer, but I have to have a trainer as well. So although I train people, I like the fact that I have someone who I trust that's going to give me the best advice to build my body or help me maintain the goals. So when I research a trainer, I research people that they work with, you know, how personable they are, if they have a good attitude, because the gym for me is a sanctuary. It's my peace space. And recently I had a trainer to make me feel like I didn't even want to be in the gym. I knew I had to remove myself because I've been doing this so long. I mean, this is where I get my peace. And I didn't want to be training with someone who made me feel like I didn't want to be where, you know, where I wanted to be. So with my girls, I create a family within the group. So they want to see each other every day. When they don't see you, they're looking for you. You know, even if they decide they want to take a break, they're coming back because they have sisters or brothers there, you know, that they start to care about and that they want to be around, and they're trying to reach the same kind of goals. So I think definitely personality. If you want big and you want bulk muscles, you might want to look for someone who is a specialist at bulky muscle. You may want to find somebody who does a lot of cardio, or who, you know, who does a weight loss journey, as opposed to, you know, somebody who trains to build muscle. So you got to kind of fit all those factors into what you want to do, because you can get burnt out. But if you have somebody who's encouraging you from all angles, and have people within that group that's encouraging you, you won't stop. I mean, the consistency thing will carry on and carry on until you get to a point where you feel like you can actually train yourself.
And I am definitely not at that place. Okay. I don't trust myself. Now I'm gonna give myself a couple of weeks, you know, to get in there and just try to, you know, put to action the things that I've learned from my great coaches and trainers. But that ain't me yet. But you know what I found interesting when I started at the body shop is, of course, it was group weightlifting, right? And prior to that, I was at Orange Theory, which was heavy cardio based. And I could tell I wasn't seeing the results. So I was like, I need to lift some iron. So I came to the body shop, but I remember one time, Jermaine, you even said, how much cardio are you doing? And I was like, huh? You know, like I just left a cardio intense place. I thought it was weight training that I need. So I'm gonna throw this one to Ian and then also Dawn. You know, when you think about your journey, it's weightlifting and cardio. Which one should you be doing more, and or why? And I know it varies, you know, person to person, but what are some of those basic ideas or concepts as to why, you know, weight training and cardio, you know, work hand in hand?
Um, so it really does depend on what your goal is.
Right. So if you want a big booty and a flat stomach, you don't do a lot of cardio.
If you want a big booty, flat.
That's what people ask for when they come to the gym. The first thing they say, "I want a big booty and a flat stomach," and but
You
they
gotta
don't
do
want to do no
both.
cardio.
So it depends where their starting point is. Do they need to lose 50 pounds, or do they need to gain, 20 pounds? So it is a little tricky to answer that, but I will say it depends on what your overall goal is. So
So
some
would you
people,
say essentially, so if you're saying you need to gain weight, you do less cardio and more weight training, and if you want to lose weight, you may do more cardio and less weight training? Are there any generals that can point me in the, okay, maybe I should be doing more cardio, or maybe I should be lifting more?
I mean, cardio and weight training both have their roles, but I guess if we're talking about aesthetics, that's going to be different than performance, right? So if I'm a track athlete, basketball player, football player, some things may go out the window. But for aesthetics, which I think most of us are focusing on, um, weight training is going to be more significant than cardio.
Right,
Mm.
right. That a good example. When Ian started training me, he would call me cardio queen, but I was just really lean. I mean, and I had some muscle, but I was just really small. And when we started training for my second show, he didn't have me on a lot of cardio. He changed my diet where I was eating more than I thought I should. I was all nervous about it. I kept thinking, oh my God, I'm eating too much. But that was one of the best bodies that I've ever had in this training journey. Like, eating all day, every day, and lifting. I got stronger, my weights got heavier, and I didn't do as much cardio. So that's a good example of where you want to be, because I'm naturally small. So if I want to gain, it's not necessarily gaining weight, but it's gaining good muscle, and it makes you look fuller. So I'm a good example of that. Now I think if someone just wants, if they're losing weight and they have a lot of weight to lose, then cardio would always be a good go-to. Because actually cardio burns my muscle. If I do too much cardio, then I lose my muscle. So you have to be careful with that.
Yeah. So a balance, and it varies for a little bit of everybody. But the other common denominator that I want to return back to is about the nutrition. And Nicole, I agree with you. I think, again, early conversation with Jermaine, and he was like, you're not eating enough.
Wait, I'm sorry, Sherhara. I wanted to comment on the last topic that we talked about.
Yeah.
So with the strength training and the cardio thing. So from my experience, when I started my weight loss journey, I did do a lot of quite a bit of strength training, but I did a lot of cardio. And so for me, a person who lost over 140 pounds, cardio was cool, but it didn't give me the body that I wanted.
Right.
So for anybody who's starting a journey, whether you got to lose 50 pounds, 100 pounds, I will always say strength training should be your go-to, because while you're dropping the weight, you still want to at least attempt to preserve as much muscle as possible and build muscle along the way. That way you won't have to catch up, because when I got down to like 150, I had loose everywhere, like my arms, in between my legs, my stomach, and everything was just like droop. So I had to kind of backtrack and start lifting. I really had cut out cardio completely, and the only thing that I did was lift it. And that's why, like, most people ask me, like, how did you lose so much weight and you so tight? Because most people think when you lose a lot of weight, you have loose skin, even though loose skin is kind of like for some people it's unavoidable, like you will have it. But the more you strength train at the beginning of your journey, it allows that muscle to build over time. So then when you drop down, you can still kind of like, have that physique that you're going for. So that was my take on that.
Yeah, no, good perspective too, because we got a couple of people coming from different experiences, right? And so I think some people identify with that. I know Eddie Nickel says, that's good, Nicole. Talking to you, Nicole. I'm older and did not want to burn the muscle I was building with too much cardio. Lifting heavy is working better for my body and not as much cardio. So that's good stuff too. And Brianna says, I've been struggling with calorie deficits. I do HIIT training 3 times a week and then Zumba 1 time a week. But the nutrition is hard because I can never tell when I'm eating enough or too much. So before we transition into talking about entrepreneurship, because at the end of the day, y'all are also entrepreneurs, and we want to introduce some of those concepts. When you think about nutrition, I got put on to macros, okay? Carbs, fats. What's the other one? Protein. So, and trying to balance all 3 of those. So there's nutrition, which I know that we think about a lot, but how do people, or Ian, you can share the importance of counting and managing your macros and being able to determine what those macros should be, right? And this is just taking nutrition to the next level. And then Jermaine, you chime in on this one too.
All right. So the most important thing is that you got to track everything that you're eating. So whoever said they're having a hard time with the deficit, there's certain apps out there that can help make this process a lot easier. Like MyFitnessPal is my go-to, but there's several others out there. Now, when I'm really on top of my game, I don't use MyFitnessPal as a diary. I use it as a planner. So basically, before my day starts, I know everything that I'm going to consume for the entire day. And I'm simply following my game plan that's already been inputted. So I know how much protein, how much carbs, how much fats, what the calorie intake is going to be for that day. So there's no guesswork. And I've been doing this approach since 2013, 14. And I still do this, even though I've been in the game for a while. So I tell people, like, especially if you're a novice to this, try to go off the top of your head. Don't try to make it work on the fly. You got to have a game plan. You plan to fail, or you fail to plan to fail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then Jermaine, you want to share a little bit about why like following your macros, or, because it's one thing to just say, I'm going to go eat healthy. But a lot of times we're not taught that you got to also consider how much of the protein, how much of the carbs, like why is that so important to now even thinking about your nutrition in the space of macros versus I'm just going to eat healthy?
So I'm the one that I'm just gonna eat healthy because
Yeah.
I don't count macros. I do. I don't. I don't have I just don't like numbers, and so I can't punch them all in. So I just do to where I know, like, I want to eat 8 ounces of protein. I want to eat 8 ounces of carbs, and then that's pretty much how I just bounce. That's just for me though. But for like clients, people who don't have time to count macros, and I just try to tell them, hey, just stay consistent with it and have your meals already ready to go. So if you know you're gonna have to eat like 4 ounces of protein, 4 ounces of carbs, 4 ounces of vegetables, you can stick to that method and just know you have to eat consistently every 3 hours. And so once you get into that habit, then you're able to have a consistent eating regimen. And so then you don't have to really worry about the numbers because you're already just consuming the amount of food that you need to consume within those hours. And I do like intermittent fasting. I do that as well too. So I just do different ways to trick my body to where, all right, cool, I don't have to do the macro counting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, makes sense because everybody has a different approach to it.
Yeah.
So you kind of got to, figure out what your happy medium is. But I definitely feel like what Ian said, and then someone else said it, Jen said it in the chat again, fail to plan, then you plan to fail. So, if you want to remain consistent, at least plan out what your meals might be, so that you don't get stuck in a real challenging situation and find yourself eating some Chick-fil-A.
That's the easiest approach. Like the day before, I sit in my bed and I type out like everything that I eat for the day. And the thing is, I've been counting macros since I started my journey, and I could go a day without even opening my fitness pal and know exactly what I need to eat. And I can like just go off the top of my head, use my food skill, and have like a whole day because I like do it so often. Now, if it's a day where I didn't track and I'm just kind of eating on the fly, 9 times out of 10, my carbs gonna be gone by 12, and my protein gonna be like all the way up here. I won't hit it at all. So that's why, like, when you first starting, it's easier to like just have a game plan, like know exactly what you need to eat, and then have like time periods in your head that okay, I need to eat at this time, I eat at this time. Because the goal is for you to be able to just do it, like it just to become like a consistent routine without having to be super duper stressed about like how much I need to be eating or what times I need to be eating. So that's pretty much the goal with it.
Yeah, getting a lot of love in the chat. Meal planning, and then someone says, when Dawn made me start tracking my food and gave me macros, it made me more conscious of what I'm eating and drinking all day, right? And sometimes it's just about breaking the habit of not paying attention. It just gives you an opportunity to pay attention. And then Eddie said, Ian is my macro dude. I never understood macros. Hold on, y'all in the chat. Never understood macros before signing up with him. I've been able to maintain my body using those macro skills and my fitness pal. Shout out to the Body Shop. Everybody sees Ian's shirt. He's a co-owner with Jermaine, if y'all have just joined in on the show. Now, here's the thing. This is not only are we witnessing a great company, the Body Shop, transforming bodies, doing transformations, building community, but we're also looking at entrepreneurs. If there are any entrepreneurs in the house, let me say something in the chat. Be like, yeah, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm with it. I'm out here. Because this part of the conversation is going to lead a little bit towards using and kind of translating what you're passionate about with your fitness journey, but then being able to turn it into a business. So I'm going to send this one to Ian and Jermaine first, but starting the Body Shop, give us a little bit of that story. Yeah, tell me the backstory, because I don't even know the backstory, actually. I'm sure y'all just had a conversation, was like, let's have a gym. But from your own mouth, share your story about starting the Body Shop.
All right. I don't see Jermaine, so I'll talk. So I've been a trainer since 2006. I started in California, opened my first gym in 2012 in Tennessee. And it was named D180 Fitness, based off of Daniel chapter 1, story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and Daniel. So had a great experience in Jackson, learned a whole lot. But one thing that I really struggled with was not having help. Like I would be at the gym really from 5 a.m. sometimes to 11 p.m. Then I was even doing what Nikki does with the meal planning and meal preps for clients as well. It was a stretch for I say 7 months where I didn't have one day off. Um, and after Saturday, I would do boot camp, or on Saturday, I would do boot camp. After I did boot camp and weight training, I'd come home, take a nap, and from about 5 p.m. Saturday till Monday morning, I did not sleep because I was preparing meals for clients. And I absolutely hated it. Like I was drained, I was burnt out, and I was like, I can't do this. So I knew once I moved from Jackson back to Texas that if I was going to do this again, I wanted help. Like I wanted somebody that I could partner with. And so I started talking to Jermaine probably like a year or two before I made the move back to Houston. And we we basically decided that we're gonna give it a try. It took us quite some time to find a building. And the crazy thing about this gym, like it's been crazy. I tell people how our landlord has increased our rent 43%. Sometimes it's like a slap in the face. I'm like, God, dog, you increase your rent 43%. Do you really want us here? Like that type of thing. But it's helpful to remember why you started and the events that were around you starting. So when we first walked into this gym, after literally looking at gyms for or potential gyms for months, I fell in love with this place. Jermaine fell in love with this place. We looked around and we are like, yo, I really feel like this is the place that God wants for us. And even then, the landlord wanted way too much money. And I wrote him a letter. I told him exactly why that's just too much, why that won't work, et cetera, et cetera. Laid it out for him, told him about how long I've been in fitness, and he never responded. So 3 months later, we're still looking. And then he reaches back out to our realtor and say, hey, do your boys still want the gym? Now, during that process, y'all, I had people praying across the nation for this gym. I would come around, I would lay hands on the building and pray for the gym. I was driving around this block praying for this gym. And then, like clockwork, man, God just opened up the door. So, well, I know for myself, when I can think of how He opened up the door for us to be here in the first place, it's just encouraging to know that or to be reminded that if He opened up the door, He's more than able to sustain and keep the doors open.
Mhm. Yeah, and there's so much that you offered in that, and just the determination. If you are an entrepreneur, don't be afraid to rethink things and ask for help. Somebody in the chat said, God said, I'm bringing you your divine helpers. So if you're moving into the space of entrepreneurship, find that help, find that support, find a partner, but remain intentional. Dawn and Nicole, I know that you all have growing businesses within fitness. What do you feel like has been the biggest thing you've had to overcome in your journey as not just in fitness, but as an entrepreneur?
Okay. So one thing with me is I run my Instagram page, I do YouTube, I have collaborations, sponsorships. It's a lot. And one thing that I had to overcome is like just to not stand in my own way. Cause like I have this very, very like good / bad trait. It's a curse and a blessing of perfectionism. Like when I do stuff, I have to do it all the way. Like I could wake up tomorrow and say, okay, I want to do this. And when I say I want to do this, I have to learn it to the T, and it has to be the right exact way. So that's one thing about me, but that also can stand in my way when it comes to like me building my business, because I can have a great idea, or I can have something that I want to do, and I will sit on it because I think, okay, it's not ready. It's not good enough. I need to perfect it more. I need to perfect it. But also just like making sure that like I have to keep my spiritual connection with God real strong. And I learned that at a young age, because I used to go to church every Sunday. And as I got in college, it's like I forgot about God, to be honest. Until because I used to always tell my mama when I go to church, I was like, Mama, I cannot relate to church because I haven't experienced nothing to make me really feel like I need to rely on the Lord. So when I got to college, life got real. I was like, okay, I'm listening, I'm here, I'm aware. So then that's when I realized that whenever you have something in mind that you want to do, I always go like have a talk with God to say like, okay, this not for me. Let me know. Like open my ears, open my mind, and just also like just having that trust within yourself that when you make that move, you okay with if it don't go through, or you okay to like if for it to not be right the first time around, and just not being afraid of failure. Because I feel like with my business and even with my journey, I wasn't afraid to like fall dead on my face, because if I fell dead on my face, I knew that it was a learning experience from everything that didn't go through the right way. So that's one thing that like I had to overcome with entrepreneurship.
So get out of your own way,
Yes.
trust yourself, and trust in God. Your whatever your higher power is, it's a powerful thing to be in alignment. Nicole, what about you? Your entrepreneurship journey. What's one of the biggest things you've learned thus far?
Well, I started training in like 98. And then I personal trained for maybe about 7 years, and then I went back into corporate America. In corporate America, although when you're working for someone and you feel like that you're doing the best job you can, you're helping them build their fortune. I came to a point to where um, I didn't have any money. I think I had about $10 in my bank account. And this attorney that I used to work for, he needed an assistant part-time. And so he had called me. He's like, he wanted me to come back and work for him. He gave me a start date. Well, on that start date, which was a Wednesday, I had left him a message that I wasn't going to come. So he didn't get my message, but he called me. And he said, well, I was looking for you today. So I told him, I said, listen, I said, I really want to help, but I got to start building my own brand and making money for myself. I was in tears. I said, I only got $10 in my account. He said, he knew what I wanted to do. He told me, he said, well, I tell you what, make me 10 meals and I'm going to be your first customer. And that's how I made my first $100 with my business. From that $100, I went and bought more groceries. And at the time I was training at a gym who served about 400 women. A young lady just asked me, Nikki, would you cook my food for me? From that day, I made 15 meals. I took those 15 meals to the gym. I sold them within 3 minutes. The money that I made from there, I just continued on to where I was making 100 meals every Monday and Friday for this gym. I would cook all day, every week. And then I got to a point where I was like, with my business, I got burnt out, but I found that structure helped me. I needed to create a structure to where I wouldn't get burn out from cooking because I love cooking. So now I have it where I take orders during the week. You have your order in by Friday. I cook on the weekends because those are my off days away from the gym. Mm-hmm. I cook on the weekend. You pick up on Sundays. I take Mondays off and I start my week again. So now it's more structured. I think if I had continued to go and go and go, I probably would have failed. But I love cooking. And then I feel like the cooking part of this, it helps people even more with their fitness journey because it's so important when you're working out. So that was my kind of go-to to be able to help people still be in the gym and still give people, what I had to offer, which was love, in the tummies.
And it's interesting. If anybody has any questions, go ahead and throw it in the chat. We're getting ready to drive this thing home. So any questions, throw them in the chat, whether it's about entrepreneurship or your fitness journey. But I think that there's a lot that kind of aligns when you think about your fitness journey and you think about perhaps being an entrepreneur. And if you want to be successful at either one of them, they probably share a couple of things that you probably have to do or, be good at. So my question is what are like three important habits or three important things that you need to do to be either successful as an entrepreneur or even successful in your fitness journey? Three important habits. Whoever wants to start. I know, Jermaine, you want to go?
One thing I would say is have a team. Like you can't do anything by yourself. I learned that with Herbalife. That you got to have a team. The other thing is being consistent with your journey, with whatever you want to do. Just be consistent with that, and then execution, like executing whatever you say you're gonna do. Like if you're gonna have a gym, execute it. If you're gonna have just a fitness app, execute it. Whatever you want to do, just execute. So that's pretty much it. That's what I would say.
A
Those three
team,
things.
execute. A team, execute. What was the third one?
A team, execute, consistency.
And consistency. Got it. Boom. All right. Ian, three things that you need, habits.
All right, so I don't know if I have three, but I will say like one of the biggest things, and kind of piggyback off what Nicole was saying. She started in fitness and went back to corporate America. Yep. Sometimes it's work on somebody else's dream as you build. Like, don't feel that you have to jump 100% in. Like, I'm a big proponent of having multiple sources of income. So, getting paid doing something else as it fuels your dream or what your business is. Like, don't feel that you have to take a 100% blind leap of faith in order to be successful. It's okay to start small. Don't despise small beginnings. It's okay to start small and then every year continue to grow until you get to a point where you can be fully immersed in your business. Um, and then the other thing was, yo, 90, I read this stat years ago about restaurants. It said 90% of restaurants fail in the first year. And then of the restaurants that succeed, 90% of that 10% fail before year three. My biggest thing, y'all, if when it comes to entrepreneurship, you gotta have a fight in you, man. This ain't easy, dog. Like you gotta be willing to scrap. You gotta be
That's
willing to
right.
put 100% in, man. Like if you gonna fail, make sure that if you fail, you could turn around and say, I gave 100%.
That's right.
I wasn't no easy win. Like I put everything that I had into this. That's a that's easier to walk away from than saying, "Yo, I put half effort in. I tried. Like if you're gonna fail, man, give 100%. Like, and don't even have that in your mindset. But whatever it is, like 100% all in. And then at the end of the day, um, some people have said, talked about spirituality, like trust in a higher power. Like don't get to the point where you put in 100% of your success on yourself, because I feel like that's where pride comes from. Like
Mhm.
you have to trust that God is more than able and that He is acting on your behalf, doing His part behind the scenes, and when possible, give Him all the glory for your success.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
Amen to that. For Nicole Dawn, we got another question in the chat. So instead of maybe the three habits that are needed in order to, be successful in your fitness journey or your entrepreneurship journey, Brenda in the house said, what are perhaps three words you use to keep your mind focused on your health journey and your business life? So maybe instead of three words, two words, two from you, Dawn, two from you, Nicole.
And the question was to keep you focused.
Keep your focus. Like, what are two words? You know how people set intention words for the new year? So I think Brenda's kind of saying, do you have like two words that help you maintain your focus?
I think I I love what I do. I love what I do. You have to find something that you love about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna keep you going. And I love being able to be a part of someone's journey when it comes to their health. Because fitness is an all around health thing. I also have been blessed to be able to give more than I could ever receive. And I think God put me in a position to be able to give. I used to wonder, like, I worked so hard, and I didn't think that I was seeing the things that I needed to see when it come to income wise. But I finally realized that God is giving you all the blessings. I have my clients are my clients because of my character. Someone has told someone about me or referred them to me. I don't have to do a lot of marketing and promoting because I feel like I'm good to people and I want for them what I want for myself.
Mm.
So I think that's a big deal when you're in this because it's not easy. I was blessed. God blessed me with wanting to work out. It's not easy. It hurts, and I know some people don't have it, but I think when you find something about fitness or working out that you love, you'll continue to do it.
Yeah, you got some love in the chat. Amen. Every day. Yes. Amen. Thank you so much. That's happening in the chat right now. Dawn, how about you? Just, when you're trying to maintain this journey, sometimes you do lose refocus. And I think Brenda's like, what words do you use to bring yourself back to focus?
So I don't really have like words that I just use to say like, okay, this specific word. But for me, it's just I just can't give up. Like that's been my motto with everything that I do. And I just like when I started my weight loss journey, I knew like that's probably like the fifth time that I had tried to start. So it probably the fifth, the sixth, maybe the eighth. But I said this time I'm gonna start, and when I start, I'm not gonna stop. And one thing that is like, just I wasn't trying to strive for perfection, like to be perfect with my journey, because I'm like, it's a lifestyle. I know, like, it's no, like Ian said, it's no end game. And I think that's what I had to get in my head after I got through the first year. Because about the first year, I was 100 pounds down. And I was like, well, yep, that's it. This is over. Like, okay, I can go back to my old ways. I
No,
start going outside. Next thing you know, I start looking in the mirror. I'm like, hold on now. It looked like the waist trying to creep back. But like just realizing like it's like I just can't give up. So even if I hit a wall, like, and that's what I kind of instill in my clients. Like Brenda is one of my clients. She just reached her 100-pound weight loss goal. Like just like making her realize that you can't give up. Like with life, you hit walls. And by the way, in 2006, I was graduating from my mom's daycare. In 1998, Miss Nikki, I was not born. So just being around, just being around y'all just let me like I got a whole lot more life to do. So, just being okay with like keep going, moving forward. Mm-hmm.
Can I say one more thing that to answer that question that what keeps me going? Someone is dependent on me to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Someone is dependent on me to be at the gym. Someone is dependent on me to cook their meals. That keeps me going. It's just not about me.
It's not.
It's almost like someone needs your help. So you want to be available to help them.
I'm 1998. I wasn't even born.
I was not born.
Keep that to yourself.
Thank you.
My mom was probably a couple of months in with me, baby.
Look, she said Miss Nikki. She didn't put the Miss on there. I wasn't born then.
So one thing I definitely can share, just being a part of the Body Shop community is the community. I never realized how much the community would mean for keeping me focused and keeping me on track, the space of accountability. And the community grows, and there's an opportunity to grow the community. Ian, before we close out, I just want to toss it over to you to share about the 30-day challenge, transformation challenge that's starting tomorrow. So share a few words about what it is, how people can get involved, and then we'll close this thing out. But the chat is live. People are loving it.
All right. So I'll share mine, but I think Don, But basically, our 30-day challenge kicks off tomorrow. You get nutrition. Basically, we help educate you on macros. You get workout plans as well as cardio plans, as well as accountability and live workouts on a consistent basis. And the cost is $125. And the biggest transformation gets $1,000.
Wow. I think I might have to do this challenge.
One.
And Dawn, you were gonna say?
Oh, my challenge already started.
Oh, okay.
We'll have to wait till next month, but we're gonna drop the details. We're gonna drop the join link for Ian's challenge in the details once we close this video out. So if you sitting there thinking about it twice and you thought about it the third time, this might be a little nudge to go.
That's right.
Hit that sign up link.
Well, we are at that time, ladies and gentlemen. The chat got live. They said thank you. Always doing it. This was awesome. I am 64. I love working out. Come on now.
Yeah.
You know? And
goals.
You said what?
So that's goals for me.
That's right.
Yes. So as we conclude our cardio and conversations for this kicking off the new year, we all wish you just the best of luck and determination. We wish you the best community to support you and accountability on your journey. These coaches and trainers, Dawn, Nicole, Jermaine, Ian, if you have not been in contact with them, reach out to them. Keep the conversation going. They're here to support you. Thank you to the Body Shop team. Thank you to Dawn for allowing me to host and facilitate this conversation. Y'all gonna see me in a couple of weeks, okay? You know, I'm working on learning this for myself.
You got this, girl.
Getting it, but I'm still looking good. I'm still getting it. I'm counting my macros, okay? I'm still doing what I'm supposed to do. But thank you all so much. Happy New Year, and we'll catch you in the conversation.
Thank you, Dawn.
Welcome. All right, you guys. Thanks for tuning in. And with that being said, come back and mess with your girl. Peace out.
Peace.